the one of the things I want to ask you about is this idea of the vaccine passports. Now it was touted by the vaccines minister, and then they said they weren't definitely not going to do it. We could hold them to it. There was no need to concern ourselves. And then, lo and behold, it comes along, and turns out they're going to do it. Not that surprised anyone, because it's all, everything they say is just the opposite then happens. But I have been trying to explain to people why this is a bad idea, because I believe it's just the worst idea in the long list of bad ideas that this government has had. Where do you stand on the issue, and why?
I think if we're going to divide society, again, it's back to division, into the clean and the unclean, the vaccinated and the unvaccinated, it's going to become so problematic. I don't understand why we're going down this route. It seems to suggest that the latest research from Oxford shows that the double vaxxed and the unvaxxed have the same likelihood of getting infected and spreading this illness as far as the Delta variant goes. And in regards to the rest of the coronavirus, or the COVID-19 at least, it seems to suggest, or most scientists suggest, that if you're vaccinated, you're less likely or somewhat less likely to spread it, but they can't tell you by how much. So whether you're vaccinated or not, you can still get the virus, you can still spread the virus. So to suggest that only vaccinated people can go to a venue or do something in normal life and unvaccinated people can't doesn't make medical sense, but also it doesn't make sense for civil liberties. It doesn't make sense for a so-called free society to say that you're only allowed to access normal parts of life if you have taken a medical procedure. The precedents that sets, the state can dictate what you do and what you put in your body. They could say, you have to have an abortion if you have a male child, for example. It's not that far off. People keep saying, well, we'd never do something that's totalitarian in this country. But look at everything that's happened over the past 18 months. I never in a million years thought that the government of the United Kingdom would say, you're not allowed to leave your own home. You're not allowed to hug your loved ones. You're not allowed to invite people in your own home. I've said it time and time again, but Englishman's home is his castle, or at least it was. We've lost all of that because they're copying tactics used in communist China, of all places. And this obsession with not necessarily looking what works scientifically, but looking what other countries are doing. Why are we so interested in what other countries are doing? Let them fail in their own ways. We should be looking at what is scientifically provable, but also what stands by our principles, our values, our morals. And none of this does. We've lost all that. And I don't get why. What is the agenda? If the difference between the vaccinated and the unvaccinated is not that much, it seems to me that it prevents serious illness and it prevents death a lot more. So it's a personal choice. It doesn't really affect those around you. Therefore, why are we dividing society based on that? The only assumption I can make of all of this is that the more that we focus on dividing ourselves amongst the vaccinated and the unvaccinated, the mask wearers, the non-mask wearers, the Brexiteers, the those lines are less focused on the people who are creaming off the top, the people who are giving their mates their PPE contracts, spending £300 billion that we don't have amongst their friends. The less we are focused on them, the more we're focused on each other. It's divide and conquer. We need to stop it.
Yeah, it's really disturbing. There's some of the measures that have really freaked me out, to be honest. And I've been listening to, and I would recommend this podcast to literally everybody that is sort of slightly worried about this, or just anyone generally. Is an interview with Jordan Peterson and, oh my goodness, what is the guy's name? It's escaping me right now. Hang on, let me double check this. But essentially, they're discussing the relationship between this thing called parasite stress and how it affects people's political viewpoints. So they're going through a whole bunch of different things that have been shown to increase people's and influence people's political viewpoints. And it's the idea that the idea that parasite stress, so like the fear of infectious diseases, increases both our conservatism and our collectivist instincts. And some of the points that we're bringing up were really terrifying. Now, obviously, again, we are not at this point yet, but they were bringing up statistics like there's quite a close correlation between in parts of Germany in the 1930s who voted for the Nazis and the number of Spanish flu deaths that were had in that region. That is terrifying to me. There's also just things like little anecdotes like Mussolini, for example, banned handshakes because it was unclean. And like, like and they say these things and I'm just like, I don't enjoy, like I get terrified at the path that we're treading. It's not where we're at yet. It's that we're following the footsteps of history where things have ended up in a really terrifying place. And then, oh, here it is. It's Dr. Randy Thornhill. I highly recommend this to anyone. But
so I tend to avoid any conversation that brings Nazism into it, because I feel like at that point you've lost the audience. You know what I mean? But it's so difficult not to, because we've asked for years and years, or we've had thought experiments for years and years, saying, if I was around in Nazi Germany, would I have complied? Would I have been complicit? Or would I have said, no way, we can't do this abhorrent thing? And I think we're seeing that in our society right now. The people that are, yeah, but it's because of a pandemic. Oh, yeah, but it's because of this, giving away their freedoms and dividing society, and essentially making people wear a yellow badge for not having had a medical procedure. We're seeing how many people would have been complicit in Nazi Germany at this point of time.
Yeah, well, we don't have to tread that path. It's just, I've been listening to it, and it's just a scary representation of where societies can go when we don't realize what we're doing whilst we're doing it. Thanks for making it all the way to the end of the podcast. Don't forget our sponsor, ExpressVPN, and my book, Brexit, The Establishment Civil War, can both be found in the links in the description below. And also, please like, share, and subscribe to this podcast. It's the best way to help us grow. Until next time, thanks for listening. Screw the hedge funds.
You can make as many rules as you want, but if there's no teeth behind them, what's the point?
Well, like Citadel is potentially just gone in a few months. It feels like financial institutions, that they are all laughing at us by buying GME. Screw the hedge funds. Like, I will lose my entire investment if it brings them down.
Why on earth, last May, could you buy the entire company for $200 million?
What's been happening on Reddit and in social media and in the marketplace has never been seen before.
I argue that nothing is off the table. There is nothing off the table when dealing with the volumes of money in something as big as the United States stock market.
The hedge funds have clearly underestimated a group of people raised on Friday night World of Warcraft raids.
Dark pools, they're another mechanism to manipulate and cheat. Mainstream journalists don't say these things for a number of reasons. One is their sources are the people that I'm talking about, and so they can't call somebody a crook.
Superstonk and the other communities that have emerged are a hive mind, the likes of which we have never seen before. It's madness and brilliance, insanity and genius all rolled into one. It's very possible that Citadel will be gone in a few months. And not just Citadel, but the entire financial system has the potential to come crashing down. These crooks continue to gamble recklessly with the world economy, and this could be the moment that they finally get their justice.